In this part of our Number Guess app project, we'll write some code to deal with the situation if our user has used up all of their guesses and has not been able to guess our number. That will end the game, we'll change the feedback on the screen, and we'll reset the user guess information to clear out the text field. So we're still working on our checkGuess function. We've had some conditional code, making sure we have a valid number. We've had some conditional code to check and see if our user guessed our target number, or if their guess was too low, or if their guess was too high. Now we're going to write some code to deal with the situation in case they have used up all of their guesses and have not guessed our number yet. That will cause the game to end. We will cut them off and let them know the game is over. Let's leave a blank line on line number 92 to visually help break up our code in case we're trying to scan through our code to find a section or to debug. Those blank lines can be really helpful for scanning through quickly. On line number 3, let's type a comment. So start with 2 backslashes and a space. Our comment will be if 7 guesses are used and not correct, we will end the game and change the feedback. Go ahead and tap return at the end of that line. And this checkGuess function uses a lot of conditional code to really help us to cycle through the user input and decide what to do. So we're going to add some more conditional code right now. So start with the keyword if, and then let's type in our variable guess count. When you see that pop up on the code snippets, go ahead and select that and tap return. So this is the variable that is holding the number of guesses that the user has made. Go ahead and leave a space, and then we want to type a greater than symbol and an equal symbol. So if our guess count is greater than or equal to 7, let's give our user 7 guesses to guess our number that's between 1 and 20. So if they've used up their 7 guesses, and we're going to add a second condition here. In Swift, and is 2 ampersands. So type in 2 ampersands and a space. And our second condition that we're going to check is that the game is not over. So start with an exclamation point for not, and then our variable game over. When you see that pop up on the code snippets, go ahead and tap return. And then leave a space. And now we need an opening curly brace. That will give us a closing curly brace. So our condition that we're checking is if the user has used up 7 guesses. So the value of our variable guess count is greater than or equal to 7, and our game is not over. So they have not guessed our number. If both of those conditions are true, then we are going to do the code inside of our curly braces. Go ahead and tap return to move that closing curly brace down to the next line. On line 95, let's change the feedback. Go ahead and start typing our variable name feedback. When you see that pop up on the code snippets, go ahead and tap return to insert that code. We are going to assign or set the value of feedback to a new string. So over on the right side, leave a space and type a quotation mark. That's going to give us a closing quotation mark. And our feedback is going to be game over. And then we'll tell them what the number was. The number was, and again, we're going to use string interpolation to insert the value of our variable into the string. So type a /, and then we need parentheses. That will give us a closing parenthesis. And the value that we want to insert is our secret number, that secret random number between 1 and 20, which is being stored in our variable target number. So go ahead and start typing target number. When you see that pop up on your code snippets, go ahead and tap return. Next, tap at the end of line 95, right behind the closing quotation marks, and tap return. All right, if our user has used up all of their guesses, we've given them feedback to tell them the game is over, and we've revealed our secret random number. Now we need to change the value being stored in our game over variable to show that the game is over. So let's go ahead and start typing our game over variable. Go ahead and tap return when you see that pop up on the code snippets. And we are going to assign or set the value of game over to true. When you see true pop up on your code snippets, go ahead and tap return. Remember, game over is a Boolean variable, so it is either true or false. If the value is true, the game is really over. If the value is false, the game is still active. So go ahead and tap on true, and at this point, they've used their 7 guesses. They have not been able to get our number, so we are cutting them off. We are changing the value of game over to be true, which will end the game. Now, if this condition is not true, if our user has not used up their 7 guesses, if that guess count value is not greater than or equal to 7, then we will skip the code inside of the curly braces and we'll move on to our next section of the checkGuess function. So go ahead and tap behind the curly brace on line 97 and tap twice to leave a blank line. On line 99, we're going to wrap up the last of our code in our checkGuess function. The last thing that we want to do, now that we've checked through all the values to see if it's a valid number, have they guessed our number? Is their guess too low? Is their guess too high? Have they used up all of their guesses? The next thing we want to do is reset the user guess variable back to null to clear out that text field so that they can make their next guess. So on line 99, let's type a comment. So start with 2 backslashes and a space, and this next chunk of code is going to clear the input text field for the next guess. Go ahead and tap return after you've typed that comment. And to reset this value, we're going to type in our variable user guess. Go ahead and tap return when you see that on your code snippets list. And then type a space. And we are going to assign the new value of user guess, or set the new value to an empty string. So we'll type a quotation mark and get a closing quotation mark. And we're going to leave that empty. This is resetting the user guess value back to null, or back to nothing. This will clear out the value that they had typed in the text field so that they're ready for a new guess. Go ahead and tap behind that closing quotation mark and tap return to finish up the last of the code for our checkGuess function. In the next part of our number guess app project, we'll write the code to create a reset game function to clear out all the values and start a fresh game.